Canary Street Press and Harper Audio present River Wild by B.J. Daniels. Performed by Wayne Mitchell. This book is dedicated to my father, Harry Burton Johnson. A born, ambitious dreamer himself, he told me I could be whatever I wanted. All I wanted was to tell stories. Thanks, Dad, for giving me so many of your genes. I'm doing what I want. Chapter 1. He had the nightmare again last night. The faceless woman, her mouth opening and closing. The primal sounds a deafening shriek, his fear and pain visceral. He knew it wasn't real, just a bad dream, yet he couldn't wake up as hard as he tried. It was like being caught in an eddy on the river, his fear rising as his thoughts whirled, and the current took him out deeper with only one clear thought. This time, you're going to die.
Still having the nightmares, Stuart?
The psychiatrist asked as she looked up from the notes she'd been taking. Nope, Sheriff Stuart Layton said with a shake of his head. He adjusted his Stetson balanced on his crossed knee and lied. He'd been coming here once a month since the incident, as they called it, 7 months ago. As an officer of the law who'd fired his weapon, killing a person in the line of duty, he'd been required to have counseling until it was determined he could still do his job.
How would you say you're dealing with the trauma of the incident?
She asked, pen poised above the paper. His near-death incident was being attacked by a knife-wielding woman who left scars over his arms and torso, and even worse, invisible wounds that made him question his sanity, let alone why he was fighting so hard to keep his job. Seeing that the doctor was waiting for a reply, he shrugged and said, As well as can be expected. Life goes on. I have a job to do. She didn't like his comment. He noticed it once. Keeping busy helps. I just had a kidnapping case, a 13-year-old. He didn't add that ultimately he hadn't saved the girl himself. He certainly couldn't take credit for that. He had saved one life, though, and had done his job to the best of his ability, which he didn't feel was saying much.
Do you ever question that you might be in the wrong profession? The doctor asked.
He almost laughed out loud. When he fought his way out of the same recurring nightmare at 3 a.m, he told himself he was done. He couldn't do this anymore. But with daylight, he could breathe again, forcing the darkness and his fear back for another day on the job. The only job he knew. His father had been the sheriff before him. He'd grown up with the law living in his house. Going to the police academy at a high school had made sense after living in the small, isolated town of Powder Crossing, Montana, where there weren't a lot of opportunities. When his father retired, Stuart had stepped into the position that no one else really wanted. It seemed like a no-brainer. Who wouldn't question going into law enforcement, he said, more to himself than to the doctor. His strict, distant father had used his silver star like a shield, a stoic, hard-nosed hero. Because of that, Stuart had thought he knew what he was getting into. He'd been wrong. You start off thinking it's a higher calling, only to realize that it's really just a thankless job, one that can get you killed. Pull over the wrong car, try to break up a domestic argument, step out of your office and look down the barrel of a loaded gun in the hand of someone with a grudge against you. He saw her expression and cursed himself. He'd said too much. This wasn't the way he wanted to go out, failing his psych evaluation. All he'd had to do was get through this last required session of 6. It didn't matter that he'd decided he had no business being sheriff anymore. He just needed her to sign off and let him hang up his star and gun on his own terms. Now he feared that he'd blown it.
Given all of that, why have you stayed?
He'd been too honest, so why stop now? Because it's what I do to the best of my ability. Growing up, Stuart had wanted to be just like his father. Now that he had a better idea of who his father really had been, he feared that he had become
Sample complete. Ready to continue?